I'm going to go over 4 combat sports that I don't recommend and 4 combat sports I do recommend for beginners. These recommendations are based off of ease of accessibility, how easy it is to get into the combat sports, and also the utility. Like, how well can you utilize these combat sports in a real life situation? Because I feel like if you're gonna learn a combat sport, you might as well be able to know how to self-defend yourself on the street. If the combat sport is not going to help you in self-defense, then I don't feel like there is a reason to really spend much time with that combat sport. But before I go into my recommendations, I want to quickly say that one of the most echoed pieces of advice when it comes to self-defense is you should learn how to de-escalate a situation and learn how to run. Those should be your first options. Try to de-escalate the situation. If you can't de-escalate the situation, run away, because you don't know what the person has. You don't know if the person has friends around the corner. There's a lot of variables you don't understand. So running away is definitely one of the best options. So you should learn to sprint. Sprint regularly. Sprint like once a week. Try to do like a 100-meter dash. Try to do like a 1/10 of a mile. Just try to sprint as long as you can and do that regularly. Because if you can't outrun the other person, what's the point? If you're gonna lose your breath, what's the point? Running is very important. You never know when you need to run away from somebody. You never know when you need to run towards somebody. You don't know when you need to chase somebody down. So running is definitely the most important thing to do. De-escalating the situation is also important. So 4 combat sports that I don't recommend. The first one is American Karate. So if you're not familiar with the term McDojo, a McDojo is like a franchise dojo that exists only to make money, and basically that's it. You go in, you pay for your uniform, you pay for your belt, you punch the air for a little bit, and after 6 months to a year, you'll eventually earn your black belt without actually getting into any real fights or learning any real skills. These places are basically laughed at when it comes to combat sports professionals and experts. You're not going to learn any real skills. I mean, for a little kid, it might be useful for you to enter little kids in there, like a 4, 5, 6-year-old. They'll learn some self-discipline, but for a grown adult, you're not going to utilize a McDojo. And American Karate, like back in like the 70s and 80s, a lot of these started popping up out of nowhere to chase after the karate craze. And the thing about American Karate is it's not actually real Japanese karate. It's actually like a hybrid between American boxing and Taekwondo. So it's not even real karate. That's why it's called American Karate. And a lot of these places will just say karate on the outside of the dojo. So I don't recommend those. That's the first one I don't recommend. The second one I don't recommend, there are far less places that say karate outside the dojo. Now a lot of them just say martial arts. What kind of martial arts is this? Who knows? Is it mixed martial arts? It might not even be a mixed martial arts gym. It's a rebranded American Karate dojo. So these are basically the exact same thing as the American Karate McDojos, but the only difference is they have rebranded themselves to say martial arts instead. Maybe it might have like some goofy name like Elite Martial Arts or something like that. I recommend avoiding these places. I mean, if it is a legit mixed martial arts dojo or mixed martial arts gym, go ahead, go for it if that's what you're wanting to get into. But if it looks like an American Karate McDojo and it just says martial arts on the outside of the building, I would recommend first looking at the Google reviews and seeing what people have to say about it. And if they say it's a McDojo, then I recommend avoiding it. The next one I would recommend avoiding is Taekwondo. The reason why I recommend avoiding Taekwondo is because Taekwondo is less of a combat sport and more of a sport. So the thing about Taekwondo is it has evolved over the time to be based around this scoring system in Taekwondo tournaments. And so it's more about making very fancy looking and snappy kicks that don't really do much damage. They're more for show. They're very stylish. They're also so you exert less energy. And it's basically playing tag with your feet. I mean, would it work in a real life situation? I mean, it's better than knowing nothing, but it's definitely not one of the better combat sports to know when it comes to self-defense on the streets. And in general, you don't even want to kick when it comes to a street fight, when it comes to self-defense. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're on one foot and you can lose balance and then land on the concrete. And Taekwondo is also very kick heavy, so I don't recommend Taekwondo for beginners or self-defense. The final one I recommend to avoid is Aikido. Aikido, basically made popular by Steven Seagal. Many people have displayed that Aikido does not work in self-defense situations, nor does it work in mixed martial arts. That's why no one in MMA, no one in UFC uses Aikido. It just doesn't work. It only works against other Aikido practitioners. So I don't recommend it. So those are the four I suggest staying away from. American Karate, if the dojo says martial arts, Taekwondo, or Aikido. So the four that I recommend for beginners, and these are no order except for the final one. The final one is the number one pick, but the first three, no particular order. The first one I recommend is American boxing. This is assuming that my audience is an American audience, but there are lots of boxing gyms. And so it's very easy to find a gym with a good instructor. They're just all over the place, and you're gonna get a good workout. Boxers have good cardio because they're constantly moving, constantly throwing strikes, and if they're not throwing strikes, they're still moving defensively. So you're gonna get a good cardio workout with American boxing, and in general, you're gonna be able to defend yourself pretty well because you're staying on 2 feet the entire time with boxing. Also, the other upside to learning boxing and any striking combat sport in general is that if you are someone who's more introverted, if you're shy, you're not really too comfortable being around people all the time, or you can't just make it to the gym for whatever reason, you can still practice at home. You can still practice it anywhere. You don't even need a punching bag. It's better to practice with a punching bag, but you can just do shadow boxing and you'll still learn. Ideally, the best way to learn is with a coach, someone critiquing your movements and telling you what you're doing wrong, but you can still work out by yourself with a striking combat sport. The next recommendation I have is Muay Thai. I've been doing Muay Thai for close to 2 years now. I really enjoy it. The difference between Muay Thai and kickboxing is that kickboxing is literally boxing with kicks, while Muay Thai you use your elbows and knees, and you also have a clinch. And because of the clinch, I think Muay Thai has a bit of an edge when it comes to self-defense, because in general, when you're defending yourself, like on the street, someone's attacking you, you're not going to be able to throw the first strike in general. I'm not a lawyer, but I do believe there are ways to make your case in court that yes, you were in danger and you had to throw the first punch, but that's going to be very difficult for you to do, and so that's why it's not recommended to throw the first punch. That's why, going back to the first thing I said, run. In most cases when you're being attacked, you're not going to be able to react to the person until they are literally touching you. And so that's where Muay Thai or any type of grapple really comes in, because Muay Thai has the clinch where you can grab them behind their neck and then start throwing some elbows and knees at them and use that for self-defense. And it has the same perk as American boxing, which is you can practice by yourself, you can hit the heavy bag, you can do shadow boxing. So where do you learn Muay Thai? There are very few Muay Thai specific gyms. In most cases, you'll find Muay Thai classes being taught at a mixed martial arts gym, or maybe a gym that has multiple types of combat sports. Like for example, Gracie gyms will have the Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well as Muay Thai classes. So you'll have to find Muay Thai classes at gyms that have that teach multiple types of combat sports. My next recommendation is wrestling. Like collegiate wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. Wrestling is one of the best combat sports when it comes to self-defense, because as I said previously, you're not going to be able to react to the person until they are physically touching you. And if you're a wrestler, you're going to be able to handle yourself very well with what you know. And if you're using wrestling outside on the street, that's going to hurt them a lot once they get slammed onto the concrete or the asphalt. They're going to have a rough time being able to get up after they get slammed on the ground. Wrestling is one of the best self-defense combat sports, and you'll be able to find wrestling classes being taught at mixed martial arts gyms, sometimes at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms, and sometimes you'll find a place called a wrestling club. Those places usually have wrestling classes. And my number one pick for self-defense, if you're wanting to learn self-defense, you're a beginner, you want to learn a combat sport that you can use in real life, the number one combat sport as far as like how easy it is to get into and how useful it is in real life is Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in general, most of the time you'll find good classes because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is usually pretty good. But Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're on another level. They teach a different type of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They also teach specific moves that are for self-defense that you use on the streets. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a great workout. You're gonna get great cardio doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because the fact that you have another guy on top of you or under you, or you're basically pushing and pulling against another human being the entire time. So you're gonna get a great workout, you're gonna get great cardio, build a lot of strength. And in general, Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of the easier ones to get into, and it's one of the better ones to be able to control a situation when you get attacked on the street. So those are my 4 recommendations: American boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Anyways, I hope that inspired you to check out some combat sports near you. Hopefully you can find a gym that teaches some good classes, that has some good reviews, that will teach you something that not only will bring you confidence, but you'll also enjoy. Personally, I haven't done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I have a spinal injury, so I'm a bit afraid to try that out, but maybe one day when I build enough core strength, maybe I'll give it a try. We'll see. But I do recommend people to check out a combat sport. Try it sooner rather than later. Make it a goal to try it within the month. Most places will let you try the first class for free. So I definitely recommend it.